I will call to order the meeting of the Tullahoma Planning Commission. I determined that we do have a quorum, so we can move forward. And what we do now is stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Mr. Noah, would you mind starting us off?
Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Y'all have a copy of the minutes. If y'all would mind reading over those, and I'll entertain a motion once y'all are ready.
I'll make a motion. Second.
I have a motion and I have a second. All those in favor of approving the minutes for November 18th, 2019, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, do we have any reports from officers and staff?
No, Mr. Chairman, not tonight.
All right. Then we'll move on to the next. We're going to bring up old business. This is a zoning map amendment. This was from the last meeting. It would be the rezoning of West Grundy Street from R1 to C2. The applicant is Mr. Jerry Rogers. Lee, is there anything that you'd like to add?
Just sort of give a little bit of background information on it. It's 0.44 acres. It's at 509 West Grundy Street. Currently has a commercial building that's on the lot, but it's been vacant for over the 3 years was required in the zoning ordinance to continue a commercial, a non-conforming use, non-conforming commercial use. Being that it is consistent with the land use plan, staff gives it a favorable recommendation.
The applicant, Mr. Jerry Rogers, is there anything you'd like to say to the board before we open up a motion? Is there anything you'd like to say to the board before we open up the motion? No? Okay. All right. I will be happy to entertain a motion.
If we open up the motion, then we can go to the
That's when we start discussing.
Motion to approve.
All right, I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. All right. We've got a motion. Discussion is open now amongst the board.
So it seems like looking at the maps, it seems like even though it's consistent with the land use plan, it seems like it wouldn't fit to rezone it to that in the neighborhood it is without. Does that pose the problem of spot zoning at all, or?
And no, spot zone would be if it was, say for instance, it was residential and we were to rezone it, then it would be spot zoning because then it would be arbitrary. Since we have a plan in place that's calling for it to be commercial, it wouldn't fall into that category.
But everything else around it is residential.
Everything around it is residential for the most part, except for to the southeast, I guess, towards the roads that fronts on the West Lincoln, which is a commercial corridor. But
timeline on the land use plan, an update, I guess, would be a couple years out, because did we establish that this is somewhat outdated?
We did. Is there a timetable on the land use plan going forward?
until it was supposed to be for 15 years, if memory serves me right, and it was adopted, I believe, in 2010.
Oh, wow.
But again, those are usually updated in like 5 years, and then you usually do a whole new one every 10 years. So even though you do get these that call for 25 or 15 years out, most communities will go ahead and do a study before 25 years.
Is there a timeline for when we will update one, or when we can, or?
Well, that would be up to funding from the board of mayor and aldermen to appropriate those funds. And then, of course, it would take us, of course, approving that budget that had the funds.
Yeah.
And then, of course, doing an RFQ and inviting qualified
Yeah.
consultants to come in.
It seems that the property, while everything adjacent to it is commercial, it backs up to all commercial. So I don't have a problem.
I would be concerned about development costs to try and develop the lot as a single-family
Yeah.
residential, as it's been in commercial use for some
I
time.
think it said since 1979.
Yes, that's a financial hardship. But that being said, I don't, I'm also, on the other hand, concerned that if the new land use plan says that that area might be a good area for multifamily commercial development, that that might be a viable alternative use.
The plan is to sell this, is that?
Yes.
I thought we had questions for Mr. Rogers, correct? Did we have questions for him last time, and is that why we requested?
I think there was last time we did, there was a question, but
I
I
think
can't
it
recall.
was a question of, I think it was of the use of it, correct? Was that what the question was gonna be?
Is there a buyer?
Is there a buyer? That's what the
That's
question was.
Mr. Rogers, do you currently have a buyer for the property as a commercial entity?
Let him step up to the
Okay,
podium.
if you step up to the mic, I'm sorry.
He needs to state his name and address
Yeah.
for the record.
Can you state your name and your address?
This is Jerry Rogers. I live at 207 South Jefferson Street here in Tullahoma. And the address that you're talking about is I think you've got it's 509. I've always referred to it as 507. I think it must have been a kind of a difference there when I bought it or something. Anyway, I received the mail at 507. I don't know if that makes any difference or not, but what was the question that you had?
Question was do you currently have a buyer that's going to use the property as commercial? Is that why the
I don't.
question was, well, last month when we had this discussion, there was a little bit of, well, are we hindering him a sale because there's a commercial buyer ready? Or is it just you want to advertise it as commercial?
I had it for sale and I had a buyer. And then I told him it was commercial, and that's when I bought it. I mean, I never heard anything any different when I bought it in early 70s, I guess. And I never had any problem or anything different than that. And I told him it was commercial, and then I guess he checked with the zoning or something, and they said it was residential. And he come back and I said, no, I said it's commercial. It's always been commercial. And everything, taxes and everything that I had, tax bill and everything, had it listed commercial. I never heard anything any different. I didn't know anything changed after I had some sickness and son passed away and I closed it. I just used it for storage use right now. And I hadn't done anything with it in the last 3 or 4 years, something like that.
Does that answer your question? Okay.
To me, it does. Do you feel that?
Yes.
Is
And I
there-
did have a, back to the buyer part, I did have a buyer part, but when he said, I don't know who he talked to, but said it was zone residential, he was wanting it for commercial, similar to what I've been used for the last 40 years.
Okay.
So, I mean, that kind of knocked sales, whatever.
Do we have any further discussion? If not, I'm going to call for the question. All right. This is sending a favorable motion to the Board of Mayor and Alderman for rezoning from a R1 to C2. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank y'all. Thank you, Mr. Rogers. All right. Next up, we have Kings Ridge Square, Phase 3, a amendment. Lee, can you fill us in?
Yeah, this was approved as a plan unit development where the actual structures were approved as far as the plan. The applicant's wanting to increase their townhome unit by 150 square feet for a sunroom. In the rear, it'll be, judging by the scaling on it, it's approximately around 2 to 3 feet from the rear lot line. So they can accommodate the room, but it takes an amendment to that plan to be able to do that building. Staff gives a favorable recommendation with 2 conditions. One, they get a licensed surveyor and redo their lot showing the revision to the footprint. And then, of course, do a drainage plan, because there are some swells out there for drainage that directs water that runs through that area. And it backs up to a golf course. So, and the city engineer went out there and looked at it, and there was concerns about drainage and building in that area. So we're requesting a drainage plan.
All right, this actually requires a public hearing, so I'm going to open a public hearing. If you'd like to speak on this, please state your name and your address, and you will have 2 minutes. So the floor is open.
My name is Betty Hand. I live at 3 Castle Walk. And as Lee mentioned, we have a townhome. We bought it this last year, and we want to extend the inside of the house. It has a den and a dining room, and we want to extend off the dining room. I asked for 10 to 15 feet. That would be 15 wide and 10 feet deep. And it would be just an extension of the home. We would use materials like used in the home, wood for the framing, and siding to match the existing siding on the outside. Have windows, 1 access door that goes out to our patio.
All right.
And I guess we don't, I don't have any problems with doing a survey, and I just need to understand what a drainage plan is.
That you're aware of the conditions that we would put on it.
Yes.
All right. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on this public hearing? All right, I will close the public hearing, and I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve with the conditions noted.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second, so we will open up for discussion. Do we have any discussion at this time?
Is this a roundabout way of getting a variance? Or is this applied to the whole subdivision covenants?
Now, since this is a planned unit development, it's not really a variance per se, or amending the plan, because it was already based on a site-specific plan. That's what planned unit developments are. And being that the setbacks and such were created with that plan instead of our prescribed rules, then we have to change that plan. It has to be amended, even to add an existing square footage to one of the structures.
So we're not just approving this, we're amending the plan so that everyone on the block can do that
Well,
too?
you're amending the plan for that lot only.
Oh, okay.
So you'll get one for every time it happens, and we had one before as well, right?
Yeah. 3 before.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah, I'm not the first.
All right. If there will be no discussion, I will call for a vote. Yes,
Close the public hearing.
yeah, I closed it.
Oh, you closed it already? Okay.
All those in favor of approving the amendment for Lot 3 at Kings Ridge, Square Phase 2, and with the conditions of a licensed surveyor to create a revised plat for Lot 3 in Phase 2, to reduce the rear setbacks and submit it to the development of the committee, which we got that, sorry, and 2, submit a drainage plan approval with Public Works. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. All right.
No, no. But he did cough and toot at the same time.
All right. So now we're on to other business. If you will see, this is a schedule for this coming year's. We'll do them each individually. I guess we need to get, does these need approval?
No, this is for information, but there was two typos on it.
Okay, yeah. There are two. You want to speak to the typos?
The final submission date for December of this year, it should be Thursday, December the 26th instead of Wednesday. And that's on both schedules.
I'll review.
All right. So we will continue to maintain the meeting time of 4:30 here. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, January 21st, 2020.
Oh, wow.
And if there's not any other business, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
You can adjourn without a motion.
Yeah.
You can? All right, then we adjourn.